So let me just start the session. Uh, Hi everyone. My name is Dhaval Gandhi. I am a director at Navkar Institute, looking after specifically CA final, and that's where I'm conducting this session for the students who couldn't clear their CA final in May 22 exam. Now, let me be very clear on this. Generally I start any session with very warm or let's say a good evening. But I think this is one of the session where I would not like to start with good evening because precisely it's not a good day. Not good for those who couldn't clear, as well as not good for uh, educational institutes because their students haven't cleared. So I don't think so. It is good evening. But I wish that after 6 months, when we'll get our November 22 result, I'll be able to share good evening with all of you. Now, let me just, rather than playing round and round, let me just straight away come to the point. How to convert this failure into success? I mean, many of you would have failed in first group. Many of you would have failed in both the groups. So there are going to be so many questions. Questions like whether should I go for one group or should I go for both the groups? How to prepare in next 6 months. So there are going to be 100 things to be very precise. But let me be very clear. I understand that a failure can be converted into success using three different stages or using three different parameters. The first parameter or the first stage, which I believe is accept your defeat. Now, this is actually a defeat. No, there was a fight between you and ICA, and probably you have lost that defeat. Not forever, but yes, as of now, we have lost. So we need to accept it. And it is very difficult to accept. I'll come to the point, but one of the first point is accept the defeat. The second point, which I believe is more important, find the reason of defeat. Why? Why is very important. Unless you get the answer of why, I don't think so there will be a success. It's like if I say I'm going to doctor because I don't feel well, but I have to say the reason to the doctor. What is my problem? Do I have a headache? Do I have a stomach issue? Do I have a fever? Or what? Anything. Unless I tell the reason to the doctor, I don't think so he will be able to cure it. So similar is the issue over here. Unless you find the reason, unless you know the reason, I don't think so anyone in the world can cure your problem and can help you to solve and can help you for success. So we need to find the reason. So first stage, as I said, is we need to accept this. Acceptance is very much important. Not acceptance in terms of forever, but current, we have to accept. The second one, which I said, is we have to find out the reason why. And third is we need to plan. Plan this next, as such, we say 6 months, but I don't think so. We have 6 months. We have only, 4 months something, hardly 100 days. I don't think so more than that. So we have to plan such 100 days in a manner which can help us to, solve the issue or which can help us to convert our failure into success. Let us come to the first point, that is the defeat part. You guys would have, not only you guys, all, to be very precise, I very well remember I have appeared for CA final for the first time in November 2009 and I failed in that attempt. Yes, friends, I failed in my CA final. My other journey was throughout clear. Everything was in first attempt, but in CA final I have failed. And probably same is your case. Many of you would have failed for the first time in your life. And you would consider this as one of the worst feelings. Because it has never happened to you. It has never happened probably to many of us. And when that happens for the first time, we feel very bad. It is, emotionally bad. Mentally, you get affected. Physically, you don't have strength now to stand up. So all this problem happens. So the point is, when we have failed for the first time, it becomes difficult. We always believe that this is a nightmare and there will be a morning and problem will be solved, but that doesn't happen precisely. Now it's time to accept it. And You can accept it when you take the blame. Just for an example, I think many of you would have blamed ICI. Yes, many of you. I mean, I have also blamed ICI, to be precise, when I failed, because the result percentage was less. I remember somewhere in November 2007 or 8, the average result was, I think, around 20 to 25% for both group. I'm talking about both group passing ratio was around 20 to 25 percentage. I'm talking about November 7 or November 8. And in November 9, when I failed, it was around 10%. So the obvious reason was, I said, it's because of ICI I failed. Why? Because ICI is reduced result. If they would have given 25%, I would have definitely passed. So the first blame comes to ICI. But don't you think so that in my attempt also 10% student pass? In current scenario, I think both group result is around 12% and single group result is around 22% or 21%. So precisely, stop blaming ICI. Though both group students, 88% students have failed, but the fact is that 12% have passed. And those 12% are, one of you only. So there has to be some lacking in our side, which is not there in their side, and that's why they passed. So stop blaming. That is one of the most important things. Don't blame ICI. ICI is not the reason. Reason is something somewhere within us. So stop blaming ICI. Even stop blaming your faculties, your coaching class. They have not provided enough. In your coaching class only, probably many students have passed. And your faculties have not taught them differently. They have taught the same to them and to you. And they have passed and you have not passed. So reason is not on the side of the faculty. Reason is somewhere in our side. So stop blaming them. I would even suggest that stop blaming your employer, because many would have said my employer was not giving me enough leave. I used to work, overtime, and because of which I couldn't concentrate on my studies, and that is the reason I failed. In your articleship, also one of the student would have passed. You might have failed, but one of your he or she might have been your friend only who has passed, but you couldn't. So it's not even your employer. COVID is again not a reason. A lot of people will say because I got affected by COVID or my family got disturbed due to COVID. So that's why I failed. This is stupid. And, it's not wrong. I mean, as a human, we have a tendency to blame someone. I'll tell you, I blamed something which is pathetic. What happened in my cases? I remember the result was announced on January 17, 2010. So the first person I blamed is the date. Why? Because 17 is 1 plus 7. That is 8. 8 is my most unlucky number. So I blamed 17. That because the result was announced on 17, I failed. Though I'm laughing as of now, but this is fact. But the fact is also that next time the exam was taken in May 10 and the result got announced on June 17, 2010 and I passed it. So it is not the date. It's a human tendency that we give blame to someone. हमको कोई बकरा चाहिए जिसको हम blame करें. जितना time blame करोगे ना, उतना time you will feel that you are the best. It is because of someone I have failed. And then you will not try and find out the reason. And because you believe that you are the best, you have failed because of someone else, not because of you. You have failed because of someone else. And because you believe that you have failed because of someone else, so you don't accept the defeat. And you don't accept the defeat, so you don't think that you have to improve. And unless you improve, I don't find a reason कि आप pass हो. So accept the defeat. गलती मान लो. अपना ही गलती. जिस दिन आप ये मानोगे ना, this is my mistake, then you will start thinking that okay, now I have to improve. अगर आप मानोगे ही नहीं that this is your mistake, you will never improve. I don't see a reason that you should clear in next time. So accept that defeat. It is very, very important. Digest it. ऊपर से मान लिया कि हाँ हाँ मेरा गलती है. But unless you digest it, see, I'm not saying that forget. If someone will slap you on your face, I may ask you to digest it, but I'm not asking you to forget it. So this is something like that. ICI has slapped you. Pardon me. I'm not blaming ICI, but it is that feeling. ICI has slapped you on your face. Accept it, but don't forget it, because now you have to fight. You have to change the scenario, and now you have to clear it. So acceptance is one of the first part, which I believe unless you accept it, you will not be able to solve. Now, the moment you accept this, then comes a question is, okay, so because of my mistake I have failed, so I have to improve it. So now you start finding the reason. What can be the reason? Frankly speaking, there can be 100 different reasons why a student has failed. I can shortlist 5, 6 different reasons. I believe more or less you will be covered by any of those reasons. The moment you will find the reason, you will start working on it, and that's where you will, be able to resolve the problem. And once we'll find the reason, then I'll give you a solution, and I'll give you a solution of each problem. So you have to first listen that what is the problem. अगर आप समझोगे problem क्या है, तो ही आप उसका solution के लिए. So when I say find the reason, so one of the first possible reason because of which a student can fail is lack of clarity, conceptual clarity जिसको बोलते हैं ना. For example, I teach ITT, and if I believe that the student who is not having a conceptual clarity, basics, there are no chances by which the student can clear the paper or indirect text. If I talk about SFM, it's all sums, but sums depends on concepts. FR, sums, theory, it depends on concepts. If you do not have conceptual clarity about anything, then you need to first solve the concepts. How to solve it? Refer lectures. Go and attend lectures at some place, or opt for video lectures, recorded lectures. Talk about Navkar. We are offering at a very nominal price recorded sessions to at least to the failures, repeaters. Not to everyone, but at least to the failures, repeaters. Very nominal price. Go for recorded sessions to solve your conceptual issues. Conceptual clarity is most. And I'm not asking you to go for all 8 subjects. If you have failed in all 8, that doesn't mean you should refer all 8 subjects. In those subjects where you are lacking in terms of conceptual clarity, only those subjects. And that too, in entire subject, if you are lacking only in 1 or 2 or 5 topics, then only refer those topics rather than going for every. Because unless you have that conceptual clarity, I don't think so anyone in the world can help you. आप mug up करके solve नहीं कर सकते. ये, I'm sorry, I am not disregarding any other qualification or any other standard, but this is not your school. I'm not disrespecting school, but point is mug up करके आप solve नहीं कर. So have conceptual clarity, or wherever एक paper लो, take a paper. On that paper, make a chart. In that, you write all the subject names and chapter names. For example, IDT. So chapter 1 talks about basic concepts. Chapter 2 talks about supply. Chapter 3 talks about charging section. Chapter 4 talks about valuation, time of supply, whatever chapters are. I think 4 is time of supply, 5th is value of supply, whatever chapters are. You list out all these chapters. Once you list out all these chapters, now against that chapter, you decide whether you have conceptual clarity or not. Whether you have 100% conceptual clarity, keep on doing that tick mark. So when you will do the tick mark, you will understand that in which topic you are lacking in terms of concepts and which topic you have 100% conceptual clarity. Wherever required, take help. Wherever required is, let's say in one subject you have 3 topics where you don't have conceptual clarity, start referring. फर्स्ट कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी लाना पड़ेगा, सेकंड स्टेप उसके बाद. देखो, पास करने का कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं होता, कोई मैजिक नहीं होता. देयर इज नो मैजिक बिकॉज ऑफ व्हिच एक्स स्टूडेंट विल क्लियर एंड वाई विल नॉट. नसीब से कुछ नहीं होता है, नसीब कम सेकेंडरी. सो डोंट थिंक ऑफ योर फॉर्च्यून. दैट्स बुलशिट. आई एम सॉरी इफ आई एम यूजिंग सम वर्ड, बट दैट्स प्योरली बुलशिट. सो डोंट थिंक ऑफ ऑल दिस नॉनसेंस सेइंग दैट ये नसीब की बात है एंड ऑल. Think of where are we lacking in terms of conceptual clarity. Resolve it. Start referring lectures. Video lectures ले लो, फटाफट हो जाएगा. Whatever topics are left out, wherever you are facing the conceptual issues, resolve it. So that is first problem. Now I have come across certain students who believe that they have conceptual clarity, but they are having problem in terms of material content. Now, this is again a very, very important point. I'll give you one of the examples. I'm talking about my 12th. In 12th commerce, uh, we had a subject called business administration. Probably many of you have that same subject. You have studied it, business administration. I used to visit a tuition class. I'll not be able to name any faculty, but I used to visit tuition class. In tuition class, the faculty was teaching excellent, and he has given us conceptual clarity in each and every topic. He also used to give us handwritten notes. Those notes are the same thing which we are supposed to replicate in the exams. So I very well remember in one of my first prelim, I did the same. I replicated the entire note. What sir has, let's say there is a question and answer. So by word to word, I have written the same in exam. So obviously you expect that you will get good marks. I was expecting somewhere around 90. And when the result came, I got 83. So I was a bit disappointed. Obviously, you will be disappointed because when you are expecting 90 and you get 83, you feel disappointed. So what you do? So you have to, evaluate why that 90 ka 83 kyun hua? Many of you would have failed and would have asked for certified copies from ACCA. Then let us understand why we have. That is very important. So same way in school days, if you do remember, in our school, it used to happen. I think probably same thing would have happened in your case. School will give you a answer copy so that you can go through it, and if you have any concern, then you can let the faculty know, or you can let the school give an idea about it. So when I was going through it, I could find out that I have written word to word what sir asked me. So why I didn't get marks? So one of the obvious thing is I took the copy to the sir, my tuition class sir, and I asked him that I have written everything, and I am expecting around 90, but I got only 83. So he said, no, this is good. This is enough. I said, no, sir, I am expecting. I want 90. What is lacking? You tell me. I want to write that so I don't face it. He said, no, this is enough. Now that was hitting. That actually was hitting. So what I did is I checked other friends. So one of my own friend who got 87 and I got 83. I was second highest, he got the highest. So I met him and I asked him that, yeah, I don't know, but I should get 87. I mean, I should get 90, but I got only 83. I want to see your copy. Can you just show it to me? So he showed me the copy. I actually checked the answers. The answers that he has written and the answers that I have written was different. There was more content on his side, and I have written less content. The point which I'm trying to say is there can be a scenario that you have referred X faculty, you have referred Y faculty, you have referred Z faculty, who might have given you 100% conceptual clarity, but the content, the material that he has given to you and that you are supposed to write in the exam may not be enough. I hope everybody is getting my point. The content part, this is very, very important. If the content is not enough, then though you have 100% conceptual clarity, whatever you will write may not give you good marks because the content that your faculty has given to you or has shared with you. With due respect to all the faculties, I'm very clear on this. I don't have any personal problem with any faculty. But the point is, it may not be. If you feel that my content is not enough, hell with me. You are not here to satisfy my ego. You are here to clear your exams. So frankly speaking, if you feel that your content was not enough, I'm okay, ignore me. Think of someone else whom you believe that is serving more content. But so the point is your content, your material should be 100%. So one of the first reason I said is there can be a scenario that you are lacking in terms of conceptual clarity. The second point is you have 100% conceptual clarity, but you are lacking somewhere in terms of material. These both are equally important points. The third reason why a student can fail is lack of planning. And when I say lack of planning, it can be in three different ways. The first lack of planning is in terms of preparation. So I think you had 6 months to prepare for your CA final, and you have not planned it properly, that how will you complete your entire preparation in 6 months. And because of this lacking, a scenario has arrived that in every subject almost 40% syllabus left out. Preparation ही नहीं हुआ, 40% in each subject. So if you are lacking somewhere in terms of preparation, आपने 40% syllabus देखा ही नहीं है. 60% syllabus के साथ if you are going in exam, then how can you expect that you will get 100% mark in the exam? It's going to be an impossible thing, right? So you need to understand that आपका syllabus timely manner में कैसे खत्म होगा. That's where you need planning. You have to plan it, and unless you plan it, I don't think so you'll be able to execute. Now this is something which I want you to follow for November 22. That's why I'm emphasizing a lot. See, I told you the reason, lack of planning, but you need to apply the same for November 22 exam. Plan it. For example, let us talk about today. Today we are on what, 18th of July. So we have hardly around 10, 30, 15 days for July. Not, let's say 10 days. We have an entire August. We have entire September. And I would say only 10 days of October, because last 20 days I want you to go revise. So 10 days of July, 31 days of August, so 41, 30 days of September, so 71, and 10 days of October, so 81. So I'm putting roughly 80 days. So you have 80 days. Now if you are going for one group, then you have 20 days for one subject. If you are going for both groups, you have 10 days for one subject. See, currently I'm not commenting whether you should go for one or two. That I'll discuss in the solution part at the last. But I'm just trying to say that if you have 80 days, so you have either 10 days for 8 subjects, or you have 20 days for 4 subjects. Or if you have exemption accordingly, then let's say 6 subjects. So accordingly, you will have around 13 days for one subject. Whatever number of days you calculate on you. But now when I say let's say I'm putting a planning for 8 subjects in 10 days. So I have 10 days for one subject. So that means I have to prepare FR in 10 days. I don't have an alternative. I have to prepare FR in 10 days. Now, when I say I have to prepare FR in 10 days, ideally speaking, I should plan the preparation in first 7 or 7.5 days. Someone would ask me why. I tell you. Because in first 7 or 7.5 days, if you will complete your subject preparation, then in next 2 or 2.5 days, you will be able to go through RTPs, MTPs, and past papers of ICI. And you will be also able to do the test practice, that is prelims. If you will say, I'll complete the subject in 10 days only, then when are you going to write paper, and how are you planning to refer RTP, MTP, and past paper? And according to me, these are very, very, very important things. RTP, MTP, past papers, agar aap ignore kar rahe ho, I'm sorry, you are reducing your own chances of killing or clearing the exams. Because try and understand, revision test papers, ICI is telling you that you refer the subject and then you revise it. Revision. Mock test papers, MTPs, ICI itself is conducting mock exams. And past papers, they are the papers. Frankly speaking, one should at least refer past 3 attempts. If you are planning for November 22, so May 22, November 21, May 21, at least 3 attempts, RTPs, MTPs, and past papers are required. Plus November 22 has to be done. But if you will refer at least 3 attempts, try and understand, in each attempt you have 1 RTP, you have 1 past paper, and you have at least 2, I would say 2 mock test papers. So May 21, you count 4 papers. November 21, you count another 4. May 22, you count another 4. And whatever comes in November, let's take it that. So maybe you will have to refer at least 14, 15 papers. Now, when you go through this 14, 15 papers, each paper consists of 100 marks. So it's a pure 1400 to 1500 marks of ICI material that you are referring. Friends, let me be very clear. उसी में से एग्जाम में 30-40 मार्क आए. So please make sure that when you plan your subject in 10 days, You plan your actual subject preparation in 7 or 7.5 days, and remaining 2 or 2.5 days should be given to RTP, MTP, and past paper. And you are also required to write a prelim or a test series. Navkar also provide test series. Feel free to join it, but the point is a prelim is required. Unless you do that prelim, I don't think so you will be able to understand. Because many a times what happens is that we plan the subject in 10 days, so we ignore rest of it. So that should not happen. Now, when I say you need to plan a subject in 7 or 7.5 days, it requires further micro planning. And when I use the word as micro planning, let us talk about that. For example, in a day, if I plan 10 hours of study, because I want to complete a subject in 7 or 7.5 days. So eventually in 7 days, I'll be able to do it 700 hours of study. Now, 70 hours of study. The point I'm talking about here is that unless I plan those 70 hours, I don't think so I'll be able to complete it. So I have to decide that in first 4 hours, I'll study which chapter. This should be on paper. I need to take a timetable. I need to make a timetable in which I'll decide that when I'll study FR, in first 4 hours during the morning, I'll study X chapter. Then in next 3 hours, I'll study Y in days. In next 3 hours, I'll go for consolidation. Unless you plan it, I don't think so you'll be able to execute. So micro planning is must for everyone. That is very, very important. Do that planning. So as I said, that why a student fail, one of the first reason is there is lack of clarity. The second reason is materials may not be, content may not be. The third reason is somewhere you are lacking in planning. And the first planning that I talked about is preparation planning, how to prepare in 7 days or in 10 days, how to prepare a subject that has to be planned, and that requires a micro plan. Now, along with preparation planning, I'm talking about one more planning, and that is revision planning. Now I'll come to that. See, in 10 days, you will revise, you will study entire subject. So ultimately in 80 days, that is by 10th October, you will complete all 8 subjects. Now you have 20 days and you have to revise all 8 subjects. Have you planned it? That how will you revise your subject in 1 day or 2 day or 2.5 days? If you have not planned that, I don't think so that first time when you refer the subject you took 10 days, how will you revise it how will you revise that in 2 or 2.5? You need to plan it, friends. Plan your preparation, plan your revision. Very important. आपको note down करना पड़ेगा that when you are revising a subject, which topics you will do and which topics you will ignore. Unless you decide that, how will you clear it? You need to decide the importance of each topic. You need to segregate the topics into categories. That depends on purely marking. For example, एक topic है जो हर exam में 10 mark का आता है, 15 marks. Then for me, it is most important topic, and I need to give maximum time for revision of that topic. And then there is a topic which hardly comes of 2 to 3 marks. Even if I like it, a day before exam, I cannot give more than 15 minutes to revise that topic. So you need to plan it that for which topic, what time you will give for revision. Unless you do that, friends, I'm betting on this, you will not be able to clear. So please, 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 the way you plan your preparation, similar way you plan your revision also. And now comes the most important part, which I am damn sure nobody will advise you across the nation, but this is something which we have learned. And I would say that my faculty has taught me, and that is plan your 3 hours of exam. Somebody would say to me, sir, how can you plan it? I'll tell you how can you plan it. But planning means 3 plans. Plan your preparation, plan your revision, and plan your examination. 3 hours of exam. Someone would ask me, sir, how? I'm a fan of cricket. I'll give you an example. If I go for a T20 match, I know that first 6 overs are going to be power. Then there will be a slog. And then in last, again, people will hit. Now, the point is, in first 6 over, which is my power, as a batsman, if I score around 20 or 30, and if I score around 50 or 60, and if I score around 80 plus, will there be a difference in the remaining overs? Everybody would answer yes. Everybody would say yes, there will be a big difference. Because if in first 6 overs, you would have made only 20 or 30, then remaining 14 overs will be under pressure. And when we are in pressure, chances of performance are, it is going to be affected. Because kahin na kahin galti hui. If in first 6 overs, you would have made 50, 60 runs. So it's a good score, but not an extraordinary score. So still, you will be in a bit pressure. But agar first 6 overs mein you have scored 80 plus, you tell me what will be your confidence. And with that confidence, now you are not thinking that whether I will score 150, our team will score 150. Now you will target 200 plus. And that's the same thing will apply in your exam. पहला आधा घंटा जो पेपर का होता है ना, फर्स्ट हाफ एन आवर, उसमें the marks that you score or the answers that you write will decide your remaining 2.5 hours and will ultimately decide your result. Because you think of it, in first half an hour, you have written a question where you are not even sure that whether you will get 10 marks. And the other option is you have written few questions where you are sure that you will get 30 marks in half an hour. Now you tell me, now after that 30 marks in half an hour, are you worried of passing or are you thinking of going for 60 plus? All of you will give the answer that it is going to be 60 plus. Now someone would say, sir, ye to bol diya कि in first half an hour we have to score maximum. But how? So let me tell you that. In any subject, let's say in accounts, in FR, we have 20 chapters. I'm just putting a rough number. I don't know exactly and I don't want to go into that. I'm talking about 20 chapters. Now, there would be, out of 20, there would be 5 chapters where you believe that you are the king. You know everything from 0 to end. Come what may, there are no chances that you will lose a single mark. So that's your confidence. For 5 chapters, you will always have that confidence. 20 में से 5 चैप्टर में तो होता है कॉन्फिडेंस. Then there are 10 chapters which are approximately a slog over. जहाँ चलेगा, थोड़ा आएगा, थोड़ा ऊपर से. And then there are last 5 chapters where you believe that was अपना काम नहीं होगा अगर if the question will come from this chapter. Now you tell me in first half an hour of your exam, you want to write question from those 5 chapters where you feel the most confident, or you want to write the questions where they've asked the question from those last 5 chapters where you feel your confidence is 0. So everybody would say, sir, I wish to write only those questions where I am confident, and that's what I am asking you to do. That's what I am asking you to execute. When you go and write paper, why you are writing from question? You find out in first 15 minutes, ICI gives you reading time. You don't read the paper, just find out, flip and find out the chapters where you feel confident. And then start writing from there only. Let's say the first question that I love the most, the chapter that I love the most is in question 2D. Then frankly speaking, I'll start my paper with question 2D. The next question where I'm most confident, the chapter where I'm most confident is in question 3C. Then I'll write question 3C next. The next chapter where I'm most confident is in question 4B. Then I'll write question 4B next. Now someone would ask me, sir, you can't do that. You have to follow the order. If you are writing question 2, then you have to complete all the questions of question 2 first. Then only you can go to question 3. Friends, I agree with that. But you are a CA student. You don't know how to play with the system. You don't know how to play with the words. What you should do is, that's okay that they ask if you write question 2, you have to complete all the questions of question 2 only. Let's first write question 2D. That's okay. Now, there are 3 more questions in question 2. And you don't want to write that as of now because you want to go to question 3C. Leave the pages. Calculate kar lo that for 3 questions, 3 sub questions, I need around 10 pages. Leave those 10 pages and go to next page and then start writing question 3C. Who says no? Someone would ask me, sir, I'm not sure how to count pages. Arey, my friend, take new supplementary. Who says that within first 10 minutes, nobody can take supplementary? And just start with question 3C. Then again take a new supplementary and start with question 4D. Who says no to you? Don't go on moral ground that it would be a waste of paper. Anyways, if you fail and then you again write the exam, then don't you think so that is waste of paper? So forget that waste of paper and write the paper in which you feel confident. If you write it that way, I'm pretty sure that in first half an hour, your score will be 25 to 30 marks. And that's your power play. And you have played excellent in that power play. Now think of your confidence. Now you're not worried of crossing 40. Now you're not worried of crossing 50. Now you're targeting 60. And that's your master stroke. So plan this 3 hours of exam. When you enter in exam hall, you should be clear with your mindset that the first question that I write is from this chapter. The second question that I write is from this chapter. And that is your confidence. Come what may, you ask anything from that chapter and I will show you what I get. This is your confidence. And go with that confidence and then clear your exam. And don't do this directly in ICI. Do it when you go for a practice. When you join Navkar test series, practice that in Navkar test series. Don't do that in ICI. If you do that in ICI, you're doing wrong. So plan that. Plan it over here. Execute it over here. And then do the practice, or rather go for a hitting in ICI. You will get your result. So that's where I was talking about planning. So planning is in 3 terms. Plan your preparation, plan your revision, and your plan your 3 hours of paper. It's very, very important. Now, see, I'm talking about why a student can fail, and probably you have not done this planning, and that's one of the reasons because of which you have failed. Because let's say if you have not planned your preparation, then it is but obvious that 60% syllabus ke saath aap kaise pass kare. If you have not planned your revision, then obviously a day before exam you have not planned your revision, so you couldn't revise things properly, and that is why you couldn't produce a good result. Let's say you have not planned your 3 hours of exam, and in first half an hour you have written certain questions which does not make any sense to you. You couldn't score well, so you were in pressure, and because of which you couldn't clear the ultimate exam. So whatever is your mistake, but accordingly please work out, plan it in proper. I told you to find out the reason. Your reason could be you have a conceptual clarity issue. A reason 2 that we discussed is there is a material content issue. A reason 3 that we discussed is we were lacking somewhere in planning. A reason 4 that now I am going to share is we have not done RTP, MTP and past papers, and I have already explained the importance. At least last 3 attempts RTP, MTP and past papers are required, friends. It is very, very important. I can bet on that if you will do all the 3 past attempt papers, all the 3 RTPs and MTPs of May 21, November 21 and May 22 plus your actual attempt extra, then out of 100 marks of your total subject-wise paper, 30 marks will directly come from that. So I'm talking about straight 30. A pass hone ke liye khali 10 और marks. So please start referring. And friends who do not have RTPs, MTPs and past papers, sorry, at Navkar we are planning to provide that in soft copy. At the end of the session, I'll give you the contact details where you are supposed to approach, and we are going to provide you this in soft form. Soft form in the sense that all the, for example, FR. So all the FR, RTP, MTP and past papers will be clubbed in one file so that you can refer that simultaneously. You don't have to download it separately every time. We have clubbed everything. So in one go only, you will find all the RTP, MTP and past papers. And as I told you earlier, that when you plan to prepare a subject in 10 days, first 7 or 7.5 days should be given to subject, and next 2 or 2.5 days should be given to RTP, MTP and past papers, and last half day should be given to writing. So RTP, MTP and past papers are very, very important. The next point, which I always share with the student, is the paper practice. I don't know how many of you are doing paper practice regularly. Now, someone would ask me, sir, we are lacking in terms of time. We can't do paper practice. But that's not correct, friends. That's not correct. I'll give you two reasons why paper practice is must. And if you have not done it, then that becomes one of the great reasons of failure. Number one. Now that's very important. Number one. You believe that you know the subject. Have you actually, tested your knowledge? What happens is, let's say I plan a subject in 10 days. In first 7 or 7.5 days, I believe that I've completed 80% subject. And I've also referred RTPs, MTPs and past papers in next 2 or 2.5 days. Now I'm left with probably the last half. Now I have two options. Option number one, I can try and target that remaining 20% syllabus, which is still pending. And option number two, I can go for a test series. I know many of you will think of option one, but I am the guy who will always do and will suggest you to do that you should go for the paper writing. I'll tell you why. You believe that you are done with 80%. But have you checked it? Go for paper writing. You will actually understand that I am done with 80%, or probably I believe that I am done with 80%, but precisely I am not done. That you have to do before you go for ICI paper. Otherwise, in ICI paper, you will come to know that I am of the opinion that I am done with 80%, but frankly, I am not done. Then again, there will be an. So, practice should be done over here rather than ICI. If you don't write paper over here, then ICI paper is your practice. If you write paper over here, then this is your practice and that is your paper writing is must. So one of the first reason is you believe that you know 80%, but it is required to be checked. And that is where we go for practice. The second and the more important reason is there are so many subjects, friends, where we are not in a position to complete paper in 3 hours. Costing is one of the best examples. DT in many cases, audit and law in many cases. People don't complete or people don't, write 100% marks of paper in 3 hours. Reason is they believe that paper is lengthy. Now, since you know that paper is lengthy, you have to do the practice. You have to write more and more papers so that you will be able to understand that how I am. Am I in a position to complete the paper in 3 hours? And if not, then what, in which field or which thing, what are the things on which I have to work so that I can complete within 3 hours? That you can do only when you write it. You will understand that, okay, in this chapter, I'm making more mistakes. So I should not start with this question first, or else I'll waste more time. And because of that, I'll end up writing the paper of only 60 marks in 3 hours. So that is required. Paper writing is must. Unless you do that paper writing, I don't think so that you will understand that how to complete the paper in 3 hours. So friends, I've given you various reasons to be very precise. I gave you one of the first reason is if you are lacking in conceptual clarity, I don't think so you'll be able to clear it. If you are having a material or the content issue the way I had in my 12th, then obviously there can be a problem. If you are lacking in terms of planning, 3 plannings I have already said: preparation planning, revision planning, or the exam planning. Then also it will not help you to clear your exam. The fourth planning, fourth point which I talk about is if you have not referred RTP, MTP and past papers, I'm sorry, again you will face the problem. And the last one is if you have not done enough paper practice, again it will create a problem. Now these are the 5 things or 6 things, whatever you number, I don't. But these are the things because of which a student fails. Now we need to overcome it. And that's where Navkar is coming up with the guaranteed success in November 2022 exams. It's a guaranteed success. I don't think so anybody in India can give you this. Guaranteed success. I am taking your responsibility. Navkar is taking your responsibility. Someone would say, sir, guarantee में क्या मिलेगा? Frankly speaking, आपको उसमें interest है कि क्या मिलेगा? अगर मैं fail हुआ तो what will you give in return? So your focus is to get something in return, or your focus is to clear the exam? Don't you think so that you should work on that part? But still, we have a clear system. I mean, like, whatever fees we will charge, we are going to charge, obviously, to run this guaranteed success program. We are going to charge fees. But if, despite of all the efforts, if you are not in a position to clear it, we'll refund the 50%. The 50% I am saying is, why? Because first 50% is required for administration and all those parts. But yes, definitely we'll refund the 50% amount. But let's not go into refund part, and let's not go into the administration part. Let me talk about what is there in this guaranteed success program. So one of the first thing I'll tell you is we are going to provide three things in this. And I believe that these three things are in. I'll tell you first. And that first is actually the most important. In market, a lot of people are there who can give you lectures. In market, a lot of people are there who can give you material. The most important thing that is required in case of a failed student is guidance. Many of you, I think your result was announced somewhere on Friday. I want to understand, don't raise your hand over here. Don't reply to me by way of chat. Just reply to yourself. Have you tried and, have you started studying? If someone has started studying, I would say, awesome, man, awesome. But many of you would have tried. I'm not talking about those who have not tried. Let's keep them aside. But then there are many of you who would have tried, but somehow they couldn't settle. वो पढ़ना स्टार्ट किया होगा और यार वापस वही again from ground zero. That thought, that emotion, I failed, that is going to affect you mentally. The most important thing is to come out of that mental state of mind. And that's where you need guidance. That's where you need motivation. And it has to be one-to-one. मैं एक सेशन ले लूंगा, मैं चार चीजें बता दूंगा. You may feel good, but who will do it after 1 week? Every week I cannot come. Probably I'll try and come. But point is, you required an individual attention. Because I gave you 5-6 reasons. There will be one student who is facing the problem in terms of material. So he requires an individual separate solution. There will be one student who is facing conceptual clarity issue. He requires a separate solution. There will be one student who is lacking in planning. He requires some separate solution. Each and every individual requires a separate solution. That's where I'm talking about one-to-one guidance. That's where I'm talking about one-to-one mentorship. So one of the first things that we are going to provide under the guaranteed success November 22 exam, that is our scheme name or that is our program name, we are going to give you one-to-one mentorship. And every 15 days, you will get a call. Yes, friends. Every 15 days, you will get a call from your mentor who will, on first day when you will get a call, he will ask you that, have you attended that double sir session? Don't worry, if you have not attended it, I'm recording this and I'm going to upload that on YouTube. So the session will be made available. So attend this and find out first that what is your problem. Because, in starting, I told you, when you go and meet doctor, you have to tell him that you have a headache or you have a stomach issue or what, you have a fever. You have to tell them that you have to tell your mentor that what is your problem. Then based on that, he'll give you a suggestion that you do this. This is what you should do in next 15 days. And when he will tell you that this is what you should do in next 15 days, now you start working on that. You write your 15 days accordingly. You follow your 15 days accordingly. After 15 days, he will again call to check whether you have followed it or not. And then he will give you a planning of another 15 days. Another 15 days, he will again call and he will check. So this is your one-to-one mentoring. And this is going to help you. This is going to be, वो बोलते हैं ना कि ब्रह्मास्त्र, because that is very important. Today, anyone can give you lecture, anyone can give you material, anyone can give you a test series. Is there anyone who can give you one-to-one solution of your problem? That's where we are talking about this mentorship. That's where we are talking about guidance. So one of the first thing that we are providing under the guaranteed success in November 22 exam is mentorship one-to-one. And I don't think so anyone in India can offer this. An individual faculty, with due respect, don't have that bandwidth, don't have that time, don't have that infrastructure. But an organization like Navkar, who is already teaching 6,000 students in classroom and is having more than 3 lakh downloads of application, is having huge bandwidth. You can't even imagine our infrastructure in terms of, I'm not talking about physical infrastructure, I'm talking about the bandwidth that we have. We have 60 plus in-house faculty and another 60 visiting faculty. We have 150 plus evaluators. All are, chartered accountants. All are well respected. We have created a team of those chartered accountants who will be in your touch and will give you one-to-one solution. So we are capable of it and we are going to help you in this way. So first thing is what we'll give you is mentorship. Second is for those students who are having conceptual clarity issue. And when I say conceptual clarity issue, would mean as not entire subject, not all the chapters, only selected part. So we are giving you recorded lectures. As you know that on Navkar Digital Institute platform, we have almost 2 to 3 faculties for each and every subject. So you will get recorded lectures of all those faculties. You are not going to refer all of them, to be very precise. You have to refer one or whatever, in whatever subjects you have problem. Just because I am giving you lecture and you are paying for it, doesn't mean that you should keep on doing everything. That's not the way it should be. You need to refer only the one which is required. You need to refer only that chapter where you are having a problem. Not everything, not at all everything. So we'll give you a recorded lectures, but the objective is only to help you with those chapters where you have a conceptual issue, not to ensure that you refer everything. Remaining study you have to do it on your own. आप मेरे लेक्चर्स देखोगे, मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, मैं तो तुम्हारे लिए तो है, तुम्हें ही देना चाहता हूँ. बट ऐसा ना हो कि खाली लेक्चर ही देखने, सेल्फ प्रिपरेशन साइड में. So that's where mentor will guide you. That, okay, you have a problem in this, you refer this. The third thing that we are planning is the regular check, and that is test series. So when a mentor will tell you that within 7 days you complete this part, how will you evaluate whether you have done or not? So there will be a test series at that. When a mentor will say that in next 3 days you complete this chapters, so how do you evaluate whether it is actually done or not? So at the end of the 3 days there will be a test. And friends, we are actually planning 25 exams in next 100 days. 25 exams. So you try and understand every 4th day there will be an exam. And when I say 25 exams, 24, 25, 1 plus minus. So when I say 24 exams, so if you're going for one group, ideally, you will have 6 exams of one subject. So for 4 subjects, you will have total 24. So as I said, we are planning around 24 or 25. This would cover, a combination of few chapters in one of the first exam, a combination of few more chapters in second exam, and then a full course, and then there will be a prelim. So every type of exam will be there. Yeah, I will not be able to take individual chapter-wise exam because we are not having that time. But yes, like 3-4 chapters put together and one exam. That's possible. So we'll give you a deadline. Let's say 3 दिन में ये 4 chapter prepare करो. At the end of 3 days, on 4th day you have an exam. Then again 3 days you prepare a few more subjects, a few more chapters, and then we'll have an exam. This will help you. This 3 things that we have designed under this Navkar guaranteed success program this is basically what we have understood or what we have learned in 25 years. Navkar, this is our 25th year. We are celebrating precisely 25th year. In 25 years, we have learned that those students who have failed and those students who have passed, what is the difference? And we understood that, the students who have passed are having majorly conceptual clarity in everything. The students who have passed have written maximum number of papers. And because you have failed, So we are adding this guidance, mentorship. So we are making it a combo of Navkar guaranteed success in November 2022 exam. And those who are interested, obviously our lectures are separately available. If someone says, sir, I'll do rest on my own, just give me lectures. Lectures are separately available. If someone would say, sir, I need only test series, baki main kar lunga. Test series is separately available. If someone would say, no, sir, I want a combo of all this, then currently we are offering the same for each group, whatever group you wanted, group one, group two. I don't think so. Both group would be feasible. If someone wants that, you can separately approach us and we'll talk about it. But prima facie, we are offering group one of CA final or group two of CA final, and we are offering that entire group with all the options that I've said at 20,000. And this is something where you are paying only 5,000. Probably in market, you buy individual subject lectures at 8,000, 9,000, and 10,000. We are giving you everything. I mean, in some cases, even more. But we are giving you everything at the price of 20,000, a mentorship. Uh, as I said, the recorded sessions and a detailed and an exhaustive test series with proper evaluation. So, ऐसा नहीं कि test series माने only question paper will be given. So it will be checked and a test answer will also be provided. We do on-screen evaluation. That is something which we have, and it is parallel to what ICI does. I know that you guys are aware that ICI also goes for on-screen evaluation. We have a same on-screen evaluation system. So it will help you. So friends, I believe that you have understood this, what we are launching under the Navkar Guaranteed Success Program. To be very precise, this is something which we have designed for you only. We will be more than happy if you join this program. A guaranteed success, one-to-one solution will be given to everybody. And if someone is asking me, sorry, I forgot to raise one point. We are providing it only to 100 students because we don't have bandwidth more than that. So it will be on first come, first serve basis. And if someone would ask me, sir, how to get this? So I'm just sharing the contact number. You just have to give a missed call on that number and our team will come back to you. The number is 82876. I'm again saying 82876 75000. Repeating the number 82876 75000. This is our missed call number. You approach us on that. If you want the entire program, you can write to us. If you don't want entire program, that's okay. You might have your individual concerns. You want only test series. Okay, again, you can give a missed call on this number and we'll come back to you. You might not want entire program. You want only recorded sessions. That's okay. We'll give it to you. So point is that you just need to approach us. As I said, under the Guaranteed Success Program, we are taking only 100 students. If this year last year we did a trial run, we choose some 50 students, and last year we launched it for 50. And out of 50, 42 students cleared it. So it is a remarkable success that we had. So this year we are increasing the bandwidth from 50 to 100. If this will succeed, probably next year we'll increase the bandwidth from 100 to 200. But we don't want to drastically increase from 100 to 1,000 because I know that there are few, like 1,20,000 plus students have failed. So sabko chahiye hoga. But then if I try and scale up beyond the limit, then precisely the quality will compromise, and I don't want that. So we will do it slowly. We'll do it gradually. Last year we tried 50, out of which 42 passed. This year we are launching it for 100, and at least we are thinking that there should be more than 80, 85 students who should be here. So it will be on first come, first serve basis. As I said, only 100 students, and we'll be glad to have you on board for that. And I want to ensure that the way I am doing as of now, one of the session of failed students, as of now I am doing the session of failed students. Tomorrow morning I have a session for pass out students where I'm going to talk about what next. So I want you, after 6 months, somewhere in January when you get your result, you attend the pass out meeting rather than fail. I hope I have helped you a lot in your understanding, and if you have any concern, feel free to approach us, as I have already shared my number, our missed call number, and that is 82876 75000. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. And if you have your questions, you can again miss call, as I said, and our team will get back to you. As of now, I'm just concluding the session. Thanks a lot, everyone, and best wishes for November 22 itself.